ponder, to have opinion, to discuss, to learn, and yeah, just general criticism. And this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not in charge of how you interpret it, how you internalize it, and how you take it. I expect that to be taken as the same as I take about you. Now, last week we talked about boarding schools and the experience I had when I was in high school, which were many years ago. We are getting old. And comparing with the incidents that have happened recently, like from after last week's video, many schools were sent home because of fear of the unrest, and also some of them still did do striking and damage school. And the culprits that were found, um, they were not found guilty. They were found like via CCTV footage of the ones who are seen acting on uh, doing arson, and through that arson destroyed properties and also killed some fellow students. Now, after that, the ones who were seen as the culprits, or allegedly, uh, they were taken into custody. And here's the thing, we want to know where the root of the problem is. Most of the schools, when they're having this unrest, there's a similar blame that is going around, and they're saying the form threes are the ones who are making the unrest happen, and it's because of fear of exam, which was supposed to be done this week before they went for, or they were to go for their midterm next week, or they come, or this weekend. And the unrest is, they use the notion, or the excuse, I might say, that they have disagreements with the staff, the teaching staff, or maybe the staff generally. But then, let's say, history has shown us mostly it's because of the fear of mock exams, especially, and done with the unrest of form threes. And the relationship between form fours blend well with the form ones, because form ones are just new to the uh, change of in the threshold of change, because they come from primary school now to high school, where they are very young adults and can be having opinions and understand, and then also growing and all that. So, and then the form fours also have the transitional part of finishing high school to go to adulthood. So it's just, they blend well, the two, the form ones and the form fours. Then we have the form twos. Form twos, they feel they have reached. I don't know where they have reached, but they feel that it's an attitude they have. They feel like they're grown. They cannot be told anything. They're unruly at the same time. Also, at the same time, the form threes now are the actual, most of the time, if you find bullying happening, high chances are the form threes or the form twos bullying the form ones. And I'll say it's a culture or a tradition that happens. I remembered back in our days, before we went to high school, we'll be given scary stories of being told, oh, you'll be given shoes, dirty shoes, or old ass shoes that are stinky, to call your, and told to call your parent and make sure they answer the call. In other words, that's hazing. Here in Kenya, it's it was called uh, monolization, if I'm getting it wrong. I think I've lost that translation somewhere. But mono was form one, Form twos were form twos. Form ones were just having that name mono, so they were given you our hazing was called that. But hazing sometimes, I remember when we entered Form 1, one girl was monorized. Hey, if I'm getting it or pronouncing it with my accent, bear with me. Uh, we had Our school had a transition from the previous how they used to handle. We used to have the school had you could come with snacks. That's Blue Band margarine and sugar, sugar, and chocolate and drinking chocolate. So you can make your own. We used to make margarine. With that, we could make chocolate-based margarine and enjoy your tea break with your bread. Uh, but when we entered high school, Form 1, it was abolished in mostly all schools, all boarding schools that were public, because they wanted, their notion was they wanted it to be standard that all students have the same thing entering school, just the basics. So that, others, like in our school, used to have even, you are allowed to come with a box of biscuits for you to eat during tea time. Hello and welcome. How's your experience in high school? Welcome. Ooh, that name. Hi, thank you for joining us. So once we were being admitted, we found that rule had been abolished. So some students who had not known about the rule, but they were aware of the school and how it used to run, will come. They were allowed because they had traveled far and wide to come and be admitted to that high school. So once they entered, that's when one of my classmates was the it was weird because she was monolized. Yeah, it was monolized. Ooh, I was looking for that name. Finally, monolized by the one who was given as an in charge. We were called cube mothers or Form 4s mostly. Not unless the cube mother was from Form 3, they didn't have a Form 4 in the cube. So Form 4s were the cube mothers. I was lucky, my cube mates, I only had 2 Form 4s and 1 Form 3. I didn't have a Form 2. It was balanced because it's a bunk bed, 2 bunk beds. So the lower bed where I was sleeping was my assigned dorm's mother, and then I was sleeping on the top deck. The other lower bed was a Form 4, and then the top deck was a Form 3. That's the only cube in the whole school that had that arrangement. The rest was you had 4 for the cubes that had 4 beds. So two bunk beds. Yeah. Okay, please write in English. I cannot understand what you're writing. So she was bullied or monolized by the Form 4, and it was so bad that she had to run away from school. And she had a twin sister who were fraternal. They actually didn't look alike. Later on, she was admitted to a school that was half boarding, half day. So she had that option. Yeah. And there was also another one. I remember she used to she's called Maureen. She's still alive. Also did experience that because she had the snacks. For us who came with the basic, maybe just the only thing that you could have maybe different is the lotion that you applied, or the tissue brand you're using, or the hair products that you're using. I'm saying products, it's like we were carrying many. No, it was just oil. And then also the rules about changing from having hairstyles. The only thing we didn't do is plait our hair. It was given that it's either you blow dry it, straighten it, or you are shaved. But previous rules was allowing to have relaxed hair. But once we entered, we hear that the rules had changed, and it was it was very serious because once we open school, let's say it's the first day of school for the year, we have today's the opening day, that tomorrow then we had the parade, and we usually opened either on Tuesday so that Wednesday we have a parade. uh our parade was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if we opened on Tuesday, the parade is on Wednesday, and you had to have that inspection. We never dispersed after the parade that you walk anyhowly. It was systematically synchronized. You walk from your line, the curvature in front of the teachers, then go to your classrooms. And that's the time they used to inspect to see who's wearing tight skirt, who's not wearing school shoes, who's not, the hair was undone or not even wearing proper uniform. And if the spot your hair was relaxed, um, you either given leave out. Leave out was a, how do I explain it? It was a ticket to go home, a leave out, written by the teacher on duty and also signed by the deputy or the principal. And you not to go home. It was given for you to go, either go get shaved or prove that your hair was not relaxed. And we had a way around it. For those who had relaxed hair, used to buy soda, to be specific, Coca-Cola, so that the hair can be nappy. Wash it with it, and the hair will not straighten out, because when relaxed hair, when you wash it, it still falls down. So to make it nappy, wash your relaxed hair with Coca-Cola. That's a hidden secret that we knew, and I don't know how girls knew about it. In high school, you know how to survive. So all that, and that's those were the excuses used for the strike that was planned back then. It was about how to dress, the type of food they were cooking. They needed more meat. We had meat on Mondays and Fridays, supper only, and it will be only pieces, 2 pieces. And at least out of that, we did get a change of lunch. We used to eat the traditional food called githeri, which is mixed beans and maize, every day for lunch, except on Saturdays. After general cleaning, we had white rice with beans, which was a fun favorite. We all loved that lunch. But after the strike, it was a funny thing. It was changed that 2 lunches will be white rice and beans, and that was on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So to break the monotony of maize and beans throughout. So that aside, the culprits who were caught and taken into custody, we now know somehow where the problem lies, because once they were caught and taken down to the police station for questioning and follow-up of the investigation and waiting for arraignment in court, the first day they were taken to custody, police custody, the parents of the said children who they were identified via CCTV footage made a fracas, went to the police station and made a lot of noise, which was sad, because it is clear and some of the evidence allegedly showing that they were the ones who did what they did, especially the one who siphoned fuel from the backup generator into the jerry can so that they can go and distribute the fuel that was used to ignite the arson. The video that I saw, the parent was complaining that the child who was inside the police custody didn't have comfortable sweater to keep her warm. And they should not be arraigned in court until 5 years later when they are adults because they're still young. And I was like, hold up. Do we have 16 girls in mortuaries and parents crying, and you're worried about a sweater? And being young? Here's the thing, I think parents need to know a lot, of parents, even siblings. You don't know each other. A parent doesn't know their child as a person. We have had in documentaries about serial killers, parents never have an inkling. They might see the signs but ignore them, but they don't really know who they are raising. Secondly, siblings also don't know who we are together in the house. Because if a child who's a teenager can think and make a plan to ignite a dorm while the fellow students, even friends they have interacted with, while they're sleeping, what did they think the outcome will be? And then you as a parent are here saying they don't have a comfortable sweater. Now I saw the problem. There's a big problem at home. And also we forget, same instances as mob justice. Thank you for the compliments, Alma. Welcome. When you organize the strike or an uproar, like demonstrations and all that, which is a good thing if you're fighting for the right thing and you're doing it according to not disrupting other people's lives. I'll just leave it at that. Because if you're speaking about against something that is being done against your rights and against the constitution that we stand by, it's a different story. But let's say for now, the strikes, the student strikes in high school, causing havoc and also making their fellow students lose life. And also mob justice, because an incident happened last weekend at young men came out of watching the football game of Paris and Arsenal. And they was just standing on the road waiting for a public means of to go home, or I think Uber. But while they were there, a man who was driving recklessly drunk hit one of them. And when they were three, when one of the other two tried to raise alarm that he had hit one of their friends, the man alighted the car with a machete and started beating them and saying they wanted to hijack his car. Now the people who were just around heard that and beat these young men, the three now, the one who was injured and the two who are raising alarm that the man has hit them. And the crowd gathered. This guy, because he was drunk, he yelled out that they were trying to steal his car. And that's how the boys were lynched and died. Only to find out that he was the cause of the accident and he's the cause. Now you as a mob, you've been used as a justice that was not requested and killed the three innocent young men. And then now the girls who banned they organized and woke up and called each other and lynched the the separate cubes and light up the fire, and they ran away. Here's the thing: you as a people who follow mob justice, sometimes you are used as a weapon to kill somebody, yet you don't know the story. Do people have guilty conscience? Question one. And secondly, you organize, or even if it was during the spur of the moment, and like the mob justice situation, uh, do you go home and your conscience is okay because you lynched somebody? Let's, for the case of argument's sake, there is no big mistake and small mistake. Even if somebody is a thief, that doesn't give you the right to take their lives. Let's start there. Unless now they are fighting, policemen and robbers have that relationship of fighting each other, let them do it, because in the line of work of policemen is to do that, to make sure safety and all that. And if the robbers, use means that are not making the rest of us safe, they have that way of fighting. But now if you're used as an independent person, a public person, a nationalist, you as an individual, and then you see some people beat up somebody and then want to lynch him because he's a thief. Yes, he has done wrong. So you killing him, does that make it right? Or killing them, does that make it right? Major question to ask. Then now for these young students, you organize something. You even say who's going to do what. You even demarcate the duties of who's going to do what. Now, here's one thing that I realized, and I remember in high school when I was given a suspension. You might do things as a group, but what makes it different is once that group disperses and goes either home or wherever you're going to go, unless you're twins and you're in the same group, you're the only one who knows the situation at your home. Are your parents well off? Are you struggling? Is your parent even struggling to pay for your school fees or for your education to continue? Will your parents understand? Like, these parents understand that their kids are still kids after doing such an act? Will they protect you if they find you at the culprit? Because there are parents who hide the sins of their children, which is also another big problem we have. Or parents looking the other way once, if everyone keeps on telling you, you keep on saying it's a noises you're making, that your child did a specific thing, or, and we hear parents, when you catch maybe a young man who's a peeping tom and he's given a little bit greeting, that's a little bit beating, and taken back to the parent says, no, my child doesn't do, they don't engage in such behaviors. And yet people found him red-handed, even thieves. I'll give you an instant story. I remember when I was much younger, there was this young man, uh, didn't live near us, but the story was known. He used to terrorize the area they were used to live, and by mugging them, beating the residents as they were going home from work in the evening. And the father, his father and mother were together. They used to have their own compound. Every first day of the month, after he's gotten paid, he'll decide to do a little bit shopping, pass by the butchery, buy a hefty kilo of meat for the family to eat, to enjoy the fruits of his labor of the previous month. But That meat never reached home because on his way home, he used to be mugged every time. But here's the twist. When he got home, he finds the meat similar to the hefty meat he had bought. It's been cooked in the house. Remember, he has been mugged on his way home, and the meat has gone and the money has gone. But you will find it being cooked in the house. So the first month happened, second month the same. The third month he called his wife and had a sit down and told the wife, I've been asking you where you get this meat. You say it's your son who has brought the meat. He's a hard worker. He has brought the meat for the family to enjoy. And my conscience says the person who has been mugging me before I got home with the fruits of my hard labor is our son. The wife was like, no, my son cannot be a mugger. My son is a very behaved boy. You see, he's bringing meat at home. The father said, I've told you what I've thought and what I've observed. But if you're not agreeing with me, well and good. A few months passed on, and then all of a sudden, one day, just a random day, it was actually on a Saturday, while the father is off from work and relaxing in his home compound, and the wife was also around just relaxing, the gate was pushed off open by force, and here comes policemen, heavily armed, walking inside the compound. In between them was their son in handcuffs. The wife immediately, the mother immediately stood up. What are you doing with my son? What has he done? You know, the worry of a mother. The policeman told her, please keep quiet. There's work we are doing. Then the police officer asked him, where did you put it? So even the father decided he's not going to talk. He just wanted to observe. So the wife, panicking, still asking her when she was wailing, no, let go of my son. The policeman had to threaten her a little bit and told her, please keep quiet or else you're also coming with us. So she had to keep quiet. Then she went and asked the husband, why are you not talking? The husband said, didn't they say they're doing their work? Yes. Let's wait and see their work being done. So the son was asked, where is it? The son pointed out the solvent pipe, and it was opened, and an AK-47 was found there. Then he was told, and the others? Then he took them to the inside bathroom of the house and opened the cistern. And there was I think a Glock or something, the small pistols. The mother saw that and she fainted. The father was like, okay, now I understand. Then the police officer said, well, we found your son with a gang of people, and he has confessed that he had hidden his weapons in your house, so we had to come and fetch them. He's been the one in charge of a gang that was mugging people on their way home. When the wife woke up from her fainting spell, the husband said simple words. I've been telling you this boy is a mugger. You kept on denying it. Now you see. So the story ends. The guy, you think they will be taken to court? In Kenya. If you're a hardened criminal, except a few have seen the court, inside the court. But mostly their story just fades away like that, because usually we are told if you're suspected of being a gangster or a robber, The police have three instances chances they give you. The first time they come and tell you to stop. The second time they come and tell the parents to talk to you to stop. The third time they come and tell either you or the family, we already gave you the warning. So whatever happens after that is the simple work of them. So anyway, thank you for joining. Ziz Ona, welcome. So when you're doing things as a mob or a crowd, think wisely. Is your conscience going to be clear? Is the decision at the spur of the moment going to affect your future? Because now, if such ladies and other people in the past, when they did such atrocities, either their life, they are either spending their life in prison, or if they were never caught, well, the guilty conscience can kick in anytime. You might say you don't feel guilty, but even policemen have PTSD. Take note of that. Even military officers pass through the PTSD of such terrors. So if you as an individual, you think you can, well, maybe you're a psychopath, but that's not for me to diagnose. Until next time, hope none or any of you have experienced bad experience with such mobs. And anyway, we see it every day. Sometimes we look the other way, or for me, if I see a crowd happening, I have that phobia. I walk the other way. I don't care if they caught a thief. I don't want any blood on my hands. I was talking about what are we where are we heading, because some decisions people making, the young people in Kenya who have done arson, let's plainly say it was arson, which ended up taking lives of students or fellow students to them, and then the parents trying to get them out of trouble, the ones who are found allegedly through CCTV, the ones who are seen doing the act. So if a parent can save you from murdering somebody, which future are we heading to? Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for those who joined. Thank you for those who liked, subscribed. Until next Tuesday, see you here today, next Tuesday. Might be later, or today I've done it earlier. But welcome. For more topics, you can see on my page, and for music also. Till next Tuesday, bye. It's not locking.